Welcome back to Bluegrass on this rainy May morning. I have some friends up from Tennessee and we're going to be working with some lab puppies today teaching the inductive retrieve. For those of you familiar with my channel, you know I have a bunch of black labs and I train them all with the inductive retrieve, and they're pretty good retrievers. Not the best, you know, but we have fun, and I think that's the most important part of working on retrieving, in my opinion. Now, the essence of the retrieve is to have a dog that'll pick something up and hand it to you. Don't overthink it, guys. People get a little bit wacky about defining the work that dogs do, when in reality most of the stuff that we do with dogs are really leisure activities. And since they're leisure activities are designed to be fun, so there's no reason to be fussing a lot at your dog, and there's no reason to be upset with yourself if your dog doesn't quite do as well as your neighbor's dog, or maybe some dog in a club with you. Okay, so what we're working on today is we're going to take some puppies, and we have an English bred show dog, and we have a couple of lab puppies that are in between, and we have a field bred fox red Labrador, and then we have some black labs, okay, that are my mentor dogs. And all we're going to work on is getting the dogs to understand that I would like for them to pick things up and hand them to me, or if I hand them something, I'd like for them to hold those things until I ask for those things to be handed back. And over the course of time, even with no force, you should be able to get a dog to work with you pretty well in terms of holding things, even if those things aren't on top of the dog's list of fun things to hold. Like, see that little dumbbell there? I mean, it's pretty heavy, right? And Annie's holding it. She's not super thrilled about it, but she doesn't mind, you know, giving a little bit, because we've been doing this for a long time, and she always understands that the boring part of retrieving is going to lead to the fun part of retrieving. So let me show you what I mean. We come up here on this table and we kind of practice just covering the basics. You know, if you have something in your mouth, hand it to me politely. And that's the most important thing, guys. I think today, too many, especially these field-bred labs, are being bred to have like a ton of drive, but they end up being a little bit on the aggravating side. They're whiny, they don't settle well. So I kind of want a nice balance. I want a calm, attentive, and polite dog that understands that sometimes I would like for them to go get something and hand it to me. And that thing that I'd like for them to hand me, it might be close to my chair, or it might be a couple of 100 yards away, okay? So you'll always kind of have to break your training down in terms of your formal school work and then the fun. So the fun work, okay, that's what pays the dog for the boring formal school work. Now, in the short run, we're going to be using food to teach this inductive retrieve, but eventually what happens is they'll do all this boring stuff just because they know that it leads to going and doing some fun retrieving. Okay, Annie, come on. So when I'm working these puppies, I'm going to work them on the table a little bit, okay? Now you'll notice right there, I was really calm and kind of paying attention to you guys in the camera rather than paying attention to the dogs. When these new puppies come out, that won't be the case. I'll have to pay a lot of attention to them because it takes a little while for them to understand how this game works. But what I want to end up with is a dog that is super happy about retrieving, okay? So like if I just come out here to do fun retrieving with Annie, okay, and I just throw the dumbbell, I want her to be happy about going and getting it, you know? I want her to understand that this is an activity that she should look forward to, even if she's on the table and having to do boring stuff. Okay, okay. So you'll see that sometimes when I bring these puppies out, when I come down here, like they seem a little bit more excited because I'm more excited. I want to get to the point though where I can be calm and the dog can be excited, because I might be talking to my friends, I might be in a hunting situation where I'm trying to like focus on what I'm doing, and I still want the dog to have a lot of energy, and I want her to have a lot of drive for the activity, but not at the expense of manner. So that's what we're always trying to balance. We're always trying to balance speed and precision, right? Okay, now for every time that I do some fun stuff, I like to go back and revisit some of the stuff that's a little bit on the boring side. So I might have Annie heel, jump into the service heel position, stay there, and then wait to be released to retrieve. Annie. Very good. A very good dog. Oh my gosh. Good. Stay. Annie. Oh my gosh, very good dog. Here. Good. Stay. Annie. Oh my gosh, very good dog. Good. Okay. All right, now, so it's early in the morning. Annie's really full of energy, and you know, those retrieves, I'm sure if you're looking for something to find that you don't like about them, that you can, right? Okay. But for me, they're pretty good. You know, Annie knows she has to do this probably 5 or 6 more times when people come today. What you have to understand is that if it's good enough for you, okay, that's all that matters. Okay, so that's the thing to keep in mind as we're working through these dogs today, is what's good enough for you, and are the results more important than the process? I can tell you from years of experience, if you focus on the process in dog training, most of the time you're going to get the results, but if you focus on the results, you're very rarely going to enjoy the process, okay? And if you don't enjoy the process, you generally don't keep up with it. All right, now I'm going to go get some other puppies, and we're going to work through this, and I'll show you how I got it started. All right, now we're going to jump from the field-bred Labrador Retriever all the way over to the opposite end of the spectrum. This is Winston. Winston is a show-bred, or what people in America refer to as an English-bred Labrador Retriever. And like a lot of people will tell you these dogs won't fetch. It's not that they won't fetch, it's just that they don't fetch as well as, you know, the field-bred dogs, because they're not selectively bred based on their desire to retrieve. But it can still be very rewarding to work on retrieving with them as long as you enjoy the process. So for this, I'm going to go to a nice soft wool sock with a wing in it, and it's got a string on it. And the reason it's got a string on it is I'm basically going fishing for retrieves. If any of you guys are familiar with fishing, you put a lure on the end of a string, all right, and you move the lure around to catch the fish's attention. That's what I'm going to try to do with this sock on a string. So I have a sock, and I'm going to use it to fish for a retrieve, right? So I'm going to drop that down there, then I'm going to hop around, and all I'm looking for is for Winston to put his mouth on that sock. Oh my gosh! And when he does, I'm going to trade him a reward for picking up or mouthing the sock. I mean, I start with whatever I can get, okay? Don't be greedy here. Now, what we do know is that the English Labs, they don't like the retrieving quite as much as they like the eating, but if you can make them understand that the eating comes after the retrieving, then you're on a good track, right? Okay, so I'm going to go fishing for a retrieve again. So I've got my little retrieving item. I'm going to move it around. Winston's hopefully is going to pick it up, and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, very nice. And basically what he's saying is, hey boss, if I pick that sock up and bring it over here, will good things happen? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. So we'll get one more rep on this table. Oh my gosh, that's a very good dog. Oh my gosh, that's a very good dog. Now, if I can find some footage, I will show you how we started off. Because catch it, Speedy. Catch it, Speedy. Catch it, Speedy. Oh, that's very good. At this rate, we'll have you fetching by the time you're 12 years old. Oh my gosh. You've got it now. You've got it now. Off because listen, for all you guys out there with dogs that they're good looking like this one, do not think that it starts off quite that easily. All right, remember what I always tell you, Miss America don't cook eggs. So if your dog's too good looking, don't expect them to work too hard. Okay, come on buddy, let's go over here. Now we'll get a side view for you guys. Very nice. Okay, now you can see them. Hey, and this is why you might have a dog that doesn't fetch so well. Look how pretty this dog is. I mean, he's a good-looking fella. He's got some stuff in his eyes, but he is a good-looking fella. All right, so we're going to try to get 2 or 3 good reps. So now look, I have something good in my hand, and I want to convince him that I will trade him something good in my hand for bringing me this sock. Psst. Oh my gosh, you can do it. You can do it. I'll bring it all the way over here, and you will be a good dog. Now I might have to fish for him a little bit. Very nice. Very nice. Now the real key here, guys, is to make sure that, and this is hard for you when you first start dog training because you always want to do more. In retrieving, a lot of times less is more. If you get anything that was better than yesterday, it's probably time to quit, you know. So I'm going to try to get one more, but I'm not going to be greedy. Oh my gosh, that's a very good dog. Okay, and then I'm calling it a success, and we're going out into the yard. Now notice, up here when we're on the table, I'm talking to you guys. Like I'm trying to be pretty calm because I'm wanting him to focus on his boring schoolwork. Now as we head out into the yard, I'm going to switch from a sock on a string to a sock just with a wing in it, right? And I'm gonna throw this. Now I'm gonna stop talking to you guys because the boring schoolwork is over and it's time for recess, right? So I'm trying to simultaneously get a little bit of precision, a little bit of speed, but you know, with a good attitude, okay? Okay, buddy, let's go. Oh my gosh, we can do it. So I gotta act real excited. Oh my gosh, he's a very good dog. Now I have to be careful and not outrun him because he's not the fastest dog in the world. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You're a very good dog. You're a very good dog. You're a very good dog. Now I'm gonna give it one try without the string, okay? And I might have to go back to the string though. So I'm gonna get down here on his level. I'm gonna toss it just a little as far this way. Oh my gosh, that's a very good dog. Okay, I'll try to go sideways for you, cameraman. All right, so I got one going straight towards the camera. I usually try to get 3 in each direction if I can. With this guy, I have to back my expectations up a little bit, so we would be super happy. Okay, I would have a 100% success rate if I end with him handing this to me. So I ain't gonna throw it too far. Oh my gosh, that's the best dog I've ever seen. Wow. And that's way better than yesterday, okay? Which is way better than the day before, which is way better than the day before that. I'm so tickled. I'm the happiest person in the world. Now, if he was a dog bred to be like a high running retriever, I wouldn't be that happy. But he's just bred to be good looking. So good looking plus works a little bit is usually a pretty killer combination. All right, let's get a different dog. All right, guys, I went in and got Toby Keith. Now, every once in a while, you'll get a combination of pretty good looking and pretty good retrieving, and that's what everybody's looking for, but don't hold your breath because it doesn't pop up too often. Toby Keith is right there in that category, though. All right, so we're gonna skip the sock on a rope, go straight to just the sock. Very nice, very good. Now, one of the things that people really miss, people don't understand about the inductive retrieve is that the most important part of the inductive retrieve is the ability to practice in a calm manner where you can like really explain to the dog the essence of retrieving, which is just hand me something. So like a lot of dogs, especially if they have some energy, they're just like waking up in the morning or fresh out of the crate, it's right after work, they'll fetch as long as like this movement stimulates them, okay? But what happens is sometimes like the dog, the fetching becomes like dependent on the dog's mood, okay? And so people will like kind of bash the inductive retrieve because they'll say, well, it doesn't create a reliable retrieve. It does, you just have to go about it right. Like, so see how I'm just in the beginning stages trying to get the dogs to put their mouth on the sock any way possible. And then I try to get them to hand it to me. But then I start to take the excitement out of it, okay? Like, so right here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to explain to the dog that sometimes even when the sock, the retrieving item of whatever type is not like moving and like stimulating them from like a instinctual point of view, like there's still work to be done, right? So watch, I'm gonna present Toby Keith with the understanding, look, I have a treat in my hand. I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna stage my clicker, and I'm gonna tell him, hey, listen, I will give you this treat if you will hold this in your mouth, all right? So 1, 2, 3, I put a count on it, and then every day I try to increase that count. Now, right here, there's no movement, so it's not stimulating his instinctive desire to retrieve. This is just transactional from Toby Keith's point of view, right? So I stage the treat, and I tell him, hey, look at this. You see this nice treat I have in my hand? I'll let you have that if you'll pick something up and hand it to me, right? So I put the sock down. Come on, you can do it. And if he picks it up and hands it to me, I click and treat, right? So let's go back and review those 2 steps. Okay, first I take a couple of days and I'll say, if you'll hold that, good things happen, okay? And then I might just place it down in a kind of a boring way, let him know I've got something, and so he wants what's in my hand, right? But the way to unlock the access to what's in my hand is to pick that sock up and move towards me. Good. Let me go over here on this other table. That'll probably give you a better understanding of what's going on. Oh, come on, Toby Keith, you're a very good dog. All right, so, what? Come on, Graceful. Come on, graceful. That's why you're not supposed to shortcut it. All right, so look, take my sock. I'm gonna place it. That way it's not that exciting, so it doesn't really draw his attention. He picks it up, hands it to me. Oh, and I reward him. I'm gonna go back here, kind of a boring, old school teacher way. I'm gonna place my sock. And if he picks it up and hands it to me, I tell him I appreciate it. Let me get one more repetition. Try to get my reps in the 3 to 5 range for each aspect of the exercise. Very nice. Okay, so that was the boring school work. The sock wasn't flying around. I wasn't acting super excited. You know, I'm just kind of handing him stuff, placing it on the table. Okay. Now, if you have to wiggle it around, if you have to act excited, then go ahead, right? Okay. But over the course of time, we are going to make the dog understand that sometimes, even if they're not super thrilled about the exercise, okay, they got to pick something up and hand it to us, right? In some of my other videos, I talk about doing things because I said so. Like when I was a kid, they would tell you, you know, you have to do that. And if you said why, they'd say, well, because I said so. They would also say, well, I won't tell you what else they would say, but all right, follow me out in the yard. Come on, dog. Now we're going to get excited. Oh my gosh. Now this is really starting to tap into the dog's, you know, desire to retrieve from an instinctual perspective. He's getting excited, and I'm going to toss the retrieving item. Oh my gosh, he's a very good dog. He's a very good dog. He's a very good dog. So get him excited. I'm going to bend down the first few times I do it so I can be on his level. Oh, go get it, Toby. You can do it. I might have to get pretty excited. Oh my gosh, a very good dog. Very good. Okay, it's gonna be exciting. Hey, the cameraman doesn't need any help. Come on, dude. Come on, come on. Now, we have people up today, so you might notice that some of the dogs' attention is drawn to the cameraman or the people that are visiting. Listen, that's what we call the watch this problem in dog training. You're going to be working on this kind of stuff in your kitchen, and when you have company over, you're going to be like, hey, watch this, and it's not going to work. So just be ready for it, okay? Now I'll give you a side view. Psst. Oh my gosh, what a good dog. I might have to bend down. Boom. Now, as soon as I can, I want to start making him realize that this exercise ends, you know, with him in the service heel position. Once he starts to realize this is a good place to be, then we will make the exercise begin and end in the service heel position. Psst. Oh my gosh, that's a very good dog. Those people don't need it. Uncle Stonnie needs it. Very nice. Oh my gosh. That's a very good dog. Psst. One more time. One more time. We'll end up perfect. Come on, you can do it. Now right there, you'll notice he was a little distracted when I threw it. That's a big mistake on my part, okay, guys? Don't, you know, make sure the dogs are paying attention and they're on task. You know, think back when you were in elementary school, how many times you might mess up an assignment just because you were daydreaming and didn't hear all the instructions, okay? So I got to make sure he's paying attention. Psst. Okay, go get it. You can get it. Very nice. Now help him. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Very nice. Talk as excitedly as I can. Very nice. Now, one of the things, when you're doing this, one of the things that's going to happen a lot when you start getting excited, your dog's going to get full of energy, and that energy is liable to shoot them off in any direction, okay? So if you feel like your puppy's starting to get distracted, you know, you might back up and do it in a little bit lower distraction environment, or you might make yourself just a little bit more interesting. So I'll kind of show you how you read them, and if it looks like they're you know, going to dart off, just make yourself more interesting and go backwards. So I throw this down. Psst. Oh my gosh, look at that good dog. Look at that, he's the best dog ever. He's the best dog ever. Very nice. Good. Okay. All right, so that was pretty good looking and a pretty good fetcher. Now I'm going to go in and get a dog that really probably has the potential to be a really good fetcher. All right, I went in and got Riot. Riot's pretty awesome, and Riot, you know, he's got quite a bit of potential to be a good retriever. Like he'll come out here and he'll play fetch just kind of naturally. But the thing that Riot does is when he's playing naturally, a lot of times he wants to make the game all about him. So he has the speed and he has the athleticism, but he doesn't have the precision, right? And so this exercise is great for you guys who have a dog that gets a little bit too fired up about retrieving. and you don't want to fuss at them, okay? So let's just start off comparing Riot to the other puppies, right? So like I'm gonna toss that right off the bat. Riot goes and gets it. Very nice, okay? Now when I first started this game with Riot, Riot would get really tore up about going and getting the sock, and then he'd run off. He'd run off and throw it up in the air. And my dog Annie, she's the same way. Like early in the morning, like if you don't watch out, she'll just take off and run in a big circle, like run 100 yards, throwing her own retrieving item up. And you just look at her like, hey, what are you doing? But why fuss about it, right? I just, you know, let her kind of run off, and it ends up working out. All right, so Riot pretty quickly got to where he understood the nature of this game, like where it's a little bit better and more fun for him if he will be cooperative. Okay, so now we're working on trying to get him to be kind of calm, right? So like I want to really make him understand that retrieving isn't just about getting excited over the retrieving item, okay? It's also about a cooperative relationship that is a familiar pattern to him. Like in the beginning stages with puppies, we use food work protocols to teach the puppies that the way to unlock access to the food is predicated on their behavior. And then after just a little while, they start to realize that the way to unlock access to anything they want is predicated on their behavior, and that's how you get dogs to behave well without having to use a ton of force, right? Okay, so if I throw this, Riot gets excited, you know, his genetics just tell him to go get it and pick it up, okay? Now, what I need Riot to do is also understand that sometimes I just need him to be calm and hold things and hand them to me, right? Okay, so look, I'm gonna show him that I have something cool in my hand, and I'm gonna say, I'd like for you to hold that, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna trade up, okay? And then every day, I just add a number to my count. So look, I'm gonna say, look, this isn't gonna be very exciting, I'm not gonna throw this, but I will hand it to you, right? And if you hold it for a little while, I'll give you this treat. You got that? All right, so take that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just add a number every day. Now, once you feel like you're pretty good at adding numbers, then you start adding distance, right? So we're gonna go, I'm gonna give Riot this retrieving item, and then we're gonna try to go get on the other table. Again, what I'm trying to get him to understand is that sometimes retrieving isn't just about being in the mood to retrieve or the movement related to the retrieving exercise. And that's where I get reliability, or pretty good reliability. I'm not saying the dogs that you train with the inductive retriever are perfect, because they're not. But to be honest with you, the dogs that are force fetched aren't perfect either. All right, so I'm gonna give him the retrieving item, and now I'm gonna start moving. Now I have to get just a little excited. So he goes, oh my gosh, come on, you can do it. Carry that all the way over here, up, 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 very nice. Now watch me calm down. 1, 2, 3, very nice. You see how that worked? Okay, it's very fun. This kind of table work, anybody can do it. Nobody can mess it up, because like even if you're not very good at getting the inductive retrieve, okay, you still are engaging in mutually beneficial behavior with the dog. You're still both enjoying it, right? You mess up a force fetch and like you ruin the dog. And if you ask anybody that does force fetch, just ask them, say, hey, were you good at it when you started? You know, that's it. If you're not, if they weren't good at it when they started, you're gonna be good at it when you start. Oh, come on, nerd. What'd you get off my table for? Come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Now, there we go. Now see how I held that the whole time? That was really good. Now that was my fault for not throwing it on the table. But I like this kind of table work. I think this kind of table work is pretty fun. And the great thing about it from the dog's perspective is that it's going to lead to something that's more fun, right? So I'm going to give him one more where I explain to him, hey, I know this is boring. I know this is like doing your times tables, but like I have something good, and you can have this thing in my hand if you'll hold that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice. Now the bell rings for recess. Okay, let's go have some recess. Let's go have some recess. Let's just go have some fun. Very nice. Now here is where Riot would give me some problems, or, you know, kind of, because he gets so excited that he just wants to play, you know, kind of a more natural game is, heck, he gets the retrieving item and he runs off and he wants me to chase him. And that's what the dogs do here all day. They'll get a stick and they run off and try to get the other dogs to chase them. If you have that, don't get mad. Just understand it's pretty natural. Oh my gosh, Riot's a good boy. Now, since Riot's a pretty good retriever, I'm already going to start trying to stand up and bring him into the service heel position, okay? Just to make him understand that this exercise eventually is going to start and stop at the service heel position. Oh my gosh, that's the best retriever I ever seen. So I tell him he did a good job when he hands it to me, and then I tell him the check's mailed to this address. Okay, I'll do it sideways for you. Oh my gosh, it's a very good dog. I appreciate it. Check's in the mail, and it arrives at this address. Very nice. Oh my gosh, that's a very good dog. That's a very good dog. Oh my gosh. Good. Oh my gosh, look at that very nice dog. He's a very nice dog. Okay. All right. Now that was a little better than yesterday, so you know, we're gonna wrap that up. And now I'm gonna go get Honey, and her owners are here. So we don't know what Honey's gonna do, considering that her owner's here, because she's gonna be really excited to see her owners, and her owners are gonna be really excited to see her. And you know what this is like if you're in the dog business. You tell the owners, you're like, hey, be calm, and they're not calm when they see their dogs, okay? So the last dog of the day will be Honey, a nice little black Labrador Retriever. Honey is pretty gregarious and pretty outgoing. Moderate fetching, not quite as much drive as Riot, but I think she can turn into a good retriever for the environment that she's in, because she's going to be like in assisted living homes, right? And it's really nice to have a dog with a nice soft mouth that people that are in wheelchairs or people that are on walkers can play a little bit of light fetch with. That's our goal for her. All right. All right, now here's Honey. So Honey's distracted by our owners a little bit, so we're going to kind of make it easier for her again. I'm going to go back to the wing and a sock, okay? And I'm going to go fishing for retrieves. You believe it or not, just this little bit of like fidgeting around like that will really draw a lot of the dog's desire to pick the retrieving item up, and it also gives you just the teeniest little bit of control over where their focus goes. Oh no, you can't just pick it up and drop it, nerd. There you go, very nice. Now remember what I was telling you about the watch this problem, okay? If you're practicing something, as soon as somebody starts watching you, your efficiency or your reliability, whatever you want to say, it's going to go down by 90%. So do not get frustrated, okay, when like you first start doing an inductive retrieve, and when you tell your neighbor to come over and watch, that it doesn't work. Okay, that's just like every time you add an element into the environment, okay, then you have to go over it again. And so, like if you are working on the inductive retrieve and you want to show somebody, don't start your session where you left off yesterday. Back up 3 or 4 steps, you know, and then like gradually acclimate the dog to being stared at, because like right now, Honey's being stared at by a bunch of people. She seems to be focusing a little better, so now I'm gonna go back to our wing and a sock. Oh my gosh, very nice. Okay, now we're gonna go over this other table, give you a little different look. Oh my gosh, now Honey is another one of those dogs that's kind of full of life and has always given me trouble once we got out in the yard about taking the retrieving item. Oh my gosh, you gotta try to hand it to me. Taking the retrieving item and like running off and play bowing and trying to get me to chase her. A lot of that comes from the fact that Honey was very important to her mom, right? Okay, so dogs are like children, and if they have doting mothers, they generally don't have much work ethic. How many times have you seen moms? And this is another reason I like the inductive retrieve, because like it forces you to focus on like common sense stuff. How many times have you seen moms that like are cleaning up their kids' room while they're yelling at the kids, right? Like, you don't appreciate anything, as they're folding their clothes and putting them in the you know, the chest of drawers. Oh my gosh, very nice dog. So a lot about how our dog treats us is just about how we expect to be treated. That's the same thing with people, guys. So if people in your life are not treating you well, ask yourself, why are you allowing that? Come here, nerd. Oh my gosh, that's pretty good. All right, we'll get one more, hopefully. Oh, psyched you out. That's a good dog. Good. All right, now we're gonna head off to the yard. Now here's what I'm thinking might happen when we go off in the yard. We get out here and like it's not as formal as the schoolwork session, she's liable to get this and run over here to see her mom. So we'll see. Okay, come on. Very nice. Now if her mom makes over her, right, it's, oh, you should take that back to Stonnie, but it's like giving her attention and loving on her, well then like she's gonna be working against me. So if the dog runs off, then the best thing that the mom can do is just kind of ignore her, you know, and be like, no, no, you're hanging out with Uncle Stonnie right now. Oh my gosh, Uncle Stonnie will try to be as fun as possible. He'll try to be as fun as possible. Where you at? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, come on, come on, come on. Oh, very nice. Now you see, I didn't even take any chances about being boring there. I threw it and then I started backing up and trying to be really exciting. Oh my gosh, look at that good dog. Look at that good dog. Oh my gosh, see, I'm about to lose her. Oh my gosh, that's a good dog. Very nice. Right, oh my gosh. So since like the environment's changed, I understand that my expectations have to be a little lower and my labor inputs have to be a little higher. Oh my gosh, it's a very good dog. Very good. All right, try to get one more rep. If I get one more rep, I'm gonna call it a day. Oh, what a good dog. Very nice. Tell her she did a good job. Checks in the mail, and it'll be delivered in the service heel position. All right, well, look, so now I gotta get up here and get back to the meat and potatoes of why Honey's mom is up here, which is basic obedience training, okay? We were just working on that, so I thought you might find it interesting. And if you want to, you know, like if you want to investigate encouraging your dog to retrieve, I would say that the inductive retrieve is a great way to start because there's no downside to it. And for you people out there that like a force fetch, look, the more that you do an inductive retrieve when a dog's young, the less force there is at the end. So it's good for you too. So it's a 360-degree win. It's fun for you. It's fun for the dog. It's fun for everybody who comes in contact with you and the dog who would also like to play fetch. You know, like I'm not gonna trust other people to try to force fetch my dog, but there's nobody that comes out here that I won't hand a clicker to and say, go out there in the yard and try to educate that dog as to how to make you happy and how to make you want to play a game with it, okay? Because if I can get all these dogs looking at people and trying to figure out how to make the people happy, then everybody's gonna end up better off. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Very good dogs.